A Kansas church known for protesting outside military funerals, including ones right here in Oklahoma, is now the focus of debate before the United States Supreme Court. The justices are right now reviewing a case involving Westboro Baptist Church.
Question, are their offensive protests protected by the First Amendment? In 2006, Westboro members waving anti-gay and anti-military signs protested at the funeral for Lance Corporal Matthew Snyder. The Marine, who was not gay, died in Iraq. Matthew's father sued Westboro Church and won a $5 million verdict, but another court threw it out. Now, Mr. Snyder wants the Supreme Court to reinstate it. New at 5, Ed Murray has reaction from Oklahomans who are torn over this issue. Ed?
Kelly, almost every state, including ours, has a law restricting where and when these protests can take place. A buffer zone, if you will, for the families. Well, these protesters showed up in Norman in 2007 for the funeral of Ryan Dollum. His dad, Scott, tells me an argument to restrict rights is a tough one for him, but he has a good idea of what he would like the court to decide.
Probably do. I kind of hold that close to my chest a little bit. Yeah, I do, and I probably won't share that with anybody right now.
There has been a Dollum serving our country in the military since the 1940s. Scott Dollum's dad fought in World War II. He's retired military. And his son, Army Corporal Ryan Dollum, made the ultimate sacrifice in Baghdad in early 2007, all fighting for our freedoms, including the freedom of speech.
I really don't get it. I'm really kind of appalled. But again, being from the military and serving in the military, I think people have the rights to do that. But again, I think there's such a fine line. When do you cut it off and when do you say no, you can't do that, versus yeah, it's okay.
If the Supreme Court rules in favor of the Westboro Church, I suspect that it will probably destroy the Oklahoma law.
State Representative Paul Wesselhoff authored what is now the Oklahoma Funeral Picketing Act.
God is your enemy.
It restricts by time and space when the protesters can act. He's also a retired U.S. Army military chaplain. He hopes justices strike a humane balance.
Yes, they have the right, but they're distorting that right. They're taking advantage of that right. I don't think any of the founders or anyone else had conceived in their mind that somebody would do that at funerals. I mean, that was totally beyond them.
But apart from the battle of rights, free speech versus invasion of privacy, there's no doubt with these men between right and wrong.
We bring them home to give them an honorable burial, and then it's disrupted by this cult. It's unconscionable.
I think those people really have a bad message or something that's very poison that they've learned or gotten. And I can't speak for them, but I think they're really off base.
Scott Dollum prefers to remember the outpouring of love that day in Norman from its citizens to the Patriot Guard motorcyclists, a group he says is a valuable asset to the families in one of their most difficult times. Kelly?
All right, Ed. The Supreme Court not expected to rule on this until next summer.